Hello, and thanks for joining us for the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Buhari deploys fighter jets, special forces to Zamfara as bandits kill more than 20. 8 Benue lawmakers serve impeachment notice to Governor Otom. Buhari vows to win 2019 presidential election by landslide as Kokonso reconciles with Shekarau. And later on the show, Senator Dino Melaye says he hid on a tree for 11 hours to escape from suspected kidnappers. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Dare Odufowokon, and Emeka Madunagu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. We want to say another congratulations to Babajide Kolade Otitoju, and as the Prestige International magazine actually presented him with the most outstanding and educative and resourceful public affairs analyst of the year 2018. Congratulations, the maestro.
Thank you.
Multiple award-winning journalist all over now. What was this about?
Well, it's just in recognition of what we do here, the little contributions that we make to make our country better. We may not totally appreciate the value of this program, but out there, whether in Aso Rock or other places, people appreciate what we do. They're happy with what we do, and I've always said that in the seat of power, they watch us. The deployment of 1,000 troops to Zamfara is an example of the fact that they watch us and they take action based on our suggestions, because we ran the story talking about the plight of the victims of the Zamfara killings just last week. And the government, I think Thursday last week, and the government has moved quickly to try to solve that problem, saving the many people from imminent death. So we are grateful.
Yeah.
And we thank our supporters, our fans, because if not for their encouragement, I'm certain that we won't be where we are today.
Yesterday, I met with the vice president and all members of his advanced party and all his entourage. Were like, where's Babajide Ayo? Where's Babajide? Where's Babajide? Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So back to business. When a problem becomes harmful, nothing short of drastic measures to address it is expected. The Zamfara banditry debacle has reached a stage where something drastic must be done. The latest killing of about 20 innocent villagers has jolted the federal government into action. President Muhammadu Buhari ordered the deployment of 1,000-strong special military force to quell the festering crisis ravaging villages and towns in northwest states. We gather that the special force, comprised of Air Force, police, and civil defense, will be supported by the use of advanced satellite surveillance technology for accurate detection of movement and locations of the bandits. Babajide, last week we did a kind of expose on your journey to that axis between Katsina and Zamfara states, and we saw the way life is, and in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the accessibility into that place. Yeah. Now that we have a different story, now that the governor can hear a sigh of relief, because at a point in time the governor was frustrated. He said that he is resigning as a chief security officer of that state. Will this action change the narrative in the Zamfara state?
Well, it's going to take a while to defeat these guys, because one, the forest in which these guys operate is very extensive. I've talked about the forest stretching from Nigeria to as far as Central African Republic. It's a cattle route. It's very extensive. So once you pile pressure on them at this end, they leave that area and go elsewhere. That's what's been happening. For example, the current defense minister hails from Brini Magaji's local government. That place used to be attacked by bandits, but they stopped going there and have chosen to attack other places. I don't know why they chose not to attack the home local government of the defense minister, but the reason is obvious. Maybe they felt they could be, maximum force could be visited on them, but they are constantly on the move. And it is also interesting to note that that forest stretches from Kaduna right up to the boundary between Kebbi and Sokoto State. So they can actually, between Kebbi and Zamfara State, so they can actually move to the Brindingwari area and continue to kill people there. Once they see that there is concentration of maximum force in an area, they move. This is what they do. And they are very mobile because they attack those villages on motorcycles. A lot of those villages are not accessible, no good roads. As you saw in the video that I brought to Lagos, it's going to be difficult to roll even multi-terrain vehicles into those areas because there are thick forests and there are no roads. That was why some of the people that we interviewed pleaded that the government should build roads through the forest area so that it can be easy to access those communities that are always in distress. The rate at which people are suffering in Zamfara calls for a national action. And in my view, even these troops, the number of troops that we are talking about, 1,000 troops, may not be enough. But when you imagine that Boko Haram is on some ascendancy at this time, they are killing our troops now in the northeast. So you ask yourself that, look, where are we going to find enough troops to police the Zamfara area? Because we can't, in the process of trying to police the Zamfara area, open up more flanks in the northeast for Boko Haram to continue to kill our troops as they are currently doing. So it is good that at least there is a response, and this response suggests that the president doesn't want to leave these people to suffer, which we have demanded over time that he should do. And as we promised on this program, until the people of Zamfara are free of this constant killing by bandits, because even as the president was deploying these troops, these same guys were kidnapping 15 people about the same time. Because what they do is they kidnap, they kill, they set people's homes ablaze. If you vigilance people stop them, they will come back with vengeance to slaughter people in any village where they are resisted by the vigilante. So we are dealing with terrible people, and it is maximum force that can bring them to their knees.
That is life is becoming very, short and brutish in Zamfara State, and Zamfara State is now becoming a kind of national embarrassment. The number of people that die every day, that get killed every day.
Okay. Just like we saw happen right before her in the northeast. It's an unfortunate development. But then I believe in that maxim that says it's better late than never. For Mr. President to have, ordered the deployment of military troop into that area is a good development. Though, I will say again, it could have come earlier than this. Some lives will have been saved. But the situation in Zamfara will take me back to something I've said before, and that's the fact that we've given these things different names. We've seen them in different colorations, but it is still the continuation of the war being unleashed on Nigeria by terrorists, which started with Boko Haram. It's just that they come in different names. I still don't want to believe that these bandits are new and fresh, and they've not been in Zamfara before. We've heard of banditry, cattle rustling at some very low level before this. But this, to me, is beginning to appear like the terrorists change tactics, change approaches, change names or we change names for them. We've called them herdsmen, we've called them bandits, but I want to.
Herdsmen.
I don't. That's exactly what I'm saying.
They've never. It's Nigerians who wrongly labeled them.
That's
These
what I'm
guys
saying
have
that.
never been herdsmen. These guys
They
they come to steal your cattle.
Come to steal,
Your cattle kidnap
kill,
people. So
and
they are
kidnap.
not herdsmen. Don't.
The
Kidnap
villagers
people.
have lived in that place with the people long before now. So that's the time I'm saying that.
But
maybe
they've been
we
killing
give them-
people for years too.
maybe
In 2014, Somna Sambo won an award for doing the story about cattle rustling in that area. So it's not even new.
It's not new. But that's exactly what I'm saying, that I think we need to be more up and doing.
Okay,
create
Emeka,
more,
let me allow
approaches
Emeka to make his first intervention.
Yeah, let me correct one impression. I mean, when the president was elected, he actually launched a military operation against cattle rustling in Zamfara, if you remember. That photograph where he put on a military uniform. Yes.
Opened a forward operation
Zamfara.
base. Yeah.
Yes, and I think he spent whether 1 or 2 days there, and said he was going to put an end to everything. Like Jide talked about earlier, cattle rustling was a problem. So the focus of the military operation then was cattle rustling. But it appears that the game has changed now, or has moved a notch higher from cattle rustling now to actual banditry. And let me tell you something. The unfortunate thing is that Nigeria is under siege. It's just that Zamfara is in the news. The highlights on Zamfara, Kaduna. The other day it was Sokoto. Now we see what happens in Beniguare.
One of the major challenges
regularly.
is the land mass.
Regularly, And I remember some years back when Obasanjo was the president, I was traveling with a friend to somewhere in Kwara State, to Jeba, and I saw some people on the side of the road somewhere in Kwara, and I said, who are these people? And he said that these are vigilante people, that if they are not here, it was a forested area, that if they are not here, that bandits will come out from the forest to attack travelers. So you find out that you have pockets of things like this all over the country. Now we've heard some people say that these people are foreigners. Some say they are Nigerians. But whatever it is, if it is foreigners that can eat deep into the country, down all the way down to Kaduna, then it gives cause for worry. And right now we have a lot of security challenges. You talked about Boko Haram. We also have preparations. We are preparing for the elections. We're still dealing with the Niger Delta. We're still dealing with a number of things. In Lagos, we still have issues around the coastal areas. We see the military trying to, really take charge of security there, but it's not easy. We still have issues of bunkering, illegal bunkering and all of that. So what I think is, beyond just launching a military operation, government needs to sit down and rework its security strategy. You cannot keep using the same security strategy. Government needs to rework its security architecture for the entire country, so that if you have such challenges as we have, because the whole of Nigeria, I can say, is under siege. There is no place in Nigeria where you don't have you don't have soldiers on the highway or engaging in internal security operations. There is no state in Nigeria where you don't have such. So, and then even in the states, internally in some states, you have armed vigilante, you have civil defense, you have policemen, you have mobile policemen, all out, tackling crime in various forms. So government needs to rework its security and, security and defense strategy, so that this issue does not go from banditry to insurgency. Because it's just a thin line from banditry. If people can consistently be killing Nigerians and the body count keeps rising, only God knows where they will.
Wrapping up on this now, Babajide, looking at where the Air Force will come in, how they will assist, and where this technology they are talking about will be effective. Because one time like that last week, you were talking about the difficult terrain, that once they enter those forests, it's very, very difficult to actually locate those guys.
Yes, and that's why it's always difficult for the army to get quickly to areas where people are being killed. The people who raise alarm. The truth also is that in some cases, there's no means of communication. Like the places that I went to, no telecommunication mast, no means of talking to people.
GSM, so
by,
you
by,
are
by
cut off.
GSM.
They will destroy those things.
So no, they don't even exist. They don't exist. There's no
Doesn't
mast.
got in there at all.
There's no mast standing anywhere. You know. So
No phone call.
the truth is, when people want to make calls in those areas, they go and climb the mountain, you know, so that they can track some this thing. So now, these areas, because the Air Force now has to deploy its reconnaissance aircraft to continue to comb the area and locate, because they are doing that in Sambisa. Wherever they see a cluster of Boko Haram men, they send in bombers to take them out. So they have to do the same thing in Zamfara now. Use those reconnaissance aircraft to pinpoint the location of these bandits, you know, and then take them out. If they can do that on a sustained basis, then they will have softened the ground for the ground troops, because whether we like it or not, it's guerrilla warfare that is going to happen there. So the soldiers must be ready for guerrilla warfare. And don't forget, even in Buhari, see the way they slaughtered our soldiers, because they understand the terrain more.
Very well.
They understand the terrain more. So, look, a friend of mine was telling me, he said, see, the Buhari-Funtua highway is a very beautiful road. But it's usually empty.
Dangerous.
Because everyone knows that if you apply that road, you could be kidnapped. So you just see, it is only when the chief of army staff is taking journalists, you know, to that area that you see, it is only their vehicle that you will see driving on that stretch of the road. Everyone has abandoned a beautiful road that government built.
Was that on the road? The governors of Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto spent 100 million naira on last year. Rehabilitated the road last year.
This is where a lot of the kidnapping on that area, that's where it happens. Luxury buses kidnapped, driven into the bush,
All right.
and all that.
Okay, still to come. 8 Benue lawmakers served impeachment notice on Governor Tom. Stay with us. Still Journalist Hangout. Welcome back. It's your award-winning Journalist Hangout. The art of making maneuvers is the hallmark of war strategies, but this is sometimes applied in politics, especially in our democracy where high-level politicking reigns. We are seeing a replica of this playing out in Benue State, where 8 APC lawmakers in the 30-member-strong State House of Assembly gathered to serve impeachment notice on Governor Samuel Ortom this morning. The impeachment move is coming days after the 23 PDP lawmakers impeached the speaker, that is Tankimbi Yangi, and which was followed by the defection of Governor Ortom and change of the state commissioner last week. So could this be regarded as flexing of political muscle in that state? Dari, let me start from you. That governor receiving, I just read his reaction, receiving that impeachment notice today. He said he now knows why they call Nigeria, why Trump referred to Nigeria as a shit old country.
Well, Governor Buhari was playing with words. I don't think he should have said that about our own country. But that aside, we must be careful. Both parties, political players, all these power gladiators must be careful not to derail the train of this democracy. What is playing out in Benue?
Who gave the 8 lawmakers the backup to go to the assembly, and they had police and they had security?
There are issues. There are issues, and we must get it in perspective.
All right, sir.
The 8 lawmakers include the speaker alleged to have been impeached. Are you getting it right?
Okay.
Who is saying his impeachment remains null and void.
Okay.
That group of lawmakers have also approached the courts over the impeachment or alleged impeachment, their alleged impeachment. Unless and until the issue of the removal of that speaker is properly addressed, it may not be too right for him and his group to claim legitimacy. That is one. 2, on the flip side now, 8 lawmakers out of 31. I mean, staging the impeachment of a governor. To me, it's dramatic. I think the people, I mean, the lawmakers in the Benue State House of Assembly should have simply solved the issue of the change in their leadership.
I think this will be taking us to the Darie days.
Because if we are not careful, how many persons are we going to explain the intricacies behind this move to?
Okay.
And I think it is not
I have my
good
first
for
caller.
anyone.
Gbenga is calling us from Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us, Gbenga.
Good evening, Ayo.
Good evening, Gbenga.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I want to congratulate my friend, Jide Otitoju, for the recognition of the work he's doing on the platform and for the award.
Thank
So
you.
more grace to your elbow, and the sky is not your limit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for the Zamfara, it shows that our government are listening and they are really ready to fight this bandit. What Jide showed to us last Thursday is revealed to many people that these bandits are not attacking towns or cities. They are attacking remote villages. So many people are thinking that where they are attacking are where police are looking at them, army are watching them. No, it has shown that these are remote villages that the terrain is difficult. So and the government has responded. So we just believe that with this, there will be end to this killing. Thank you.
All right. Emeka.
It's totally ridiculous. Those lawmakers, I believe they need to go back to school to understand the fact that there are, you have precedents. If the Supreme Court of Nigeria, maybe they don't know there's a Supreme Court in Nigeria, and maybe they need to be told that the Supreme Court of Nigeria, when it delivers a landmark judgment, it becomes a part of the ground for deciding issues.
They call it locus classicus.
Yes, so you had the impeachment of Darie. Go and read what the Supreme Court said about it. The impeachment of Fauci, the impeachment of Ladoja, the impeachment of Peter Obi. Go and read what the Supreme Court said about all those cases. So it's as clear, as well, it's so clear that they're just engaging in a wasted venture. And it's unfortunate that they belong to APC that said it brought change to Nigeria. It's ridiculous, and I don't know what the business of the police is. Because the police has besieged the assembly. Has the police now become a political party in Nigeria? It is very wrong. What Nigerians must do, Nigerians must condemn this. Look.
We have a very short time for this. Babajide, they did not, I was told that other lawmakers were making effort to access the place. They were prevented. Yes. What is this? That's the PDP lawmakers.
That's with the police at work. It's the police at work, and it's shameful that this is happening. You see, nobody can return because Maker said Nigerians should condemn this. Nigerians will condemn what is wrong. When I say Nigerians, I don't mean a very loud minority, loud and brutish even in the deployment of words. I don't mean that category of people. Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, know what is not good for their country. And what is not good for our country is to return us to the Obasanjo era.
Yeah.
The things that Obasanjo did that made no sense, we should not return to that era. Obasanjo was declaring state of emergency. I've heard funny Nigerians say that, declare state of emergency in Benue, declare this. They do not know. Even educated people who don't read, they fail to realize that Obasanjo imposed state of emergency with an antiquated law, a 1963 law that does not exist anymore, no longer known to our laws. So that's what people have been pushing Buhari. Oh, declare state of emergency here in Taraba and the Benue. Nonsense. Nobody can declare state of emergency in which elected representatives of the people will be told to go back home. Not in today's Nigeria. The law is clear. The law is clear. And you cannot impeach the presiding officer of the legislature without having two-thirds majority. If you want to impeach Saraki today, you need 73 senators
out of 109.
73.
Out of 107, two seats are vacant.
No. What the Supreme Court says is
number of senators.
the number of senators, not whether some people
Whether some people
are away
Not
or
even
alive.
at a particular city.
Because they
Number of
know it's
total
just to
senators.
get away, it's just to avoid a situation in which you have 7 people saying they have suspended the majority.
Yes.
You know it happened during Obasanjo.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they are trying to do.
Five suspended.
That's
not
what,
23 or 19.
yes, which the EFCC under no Ribadu supervise. They supervise that one. Nobody should take Nigeria back to that era. The Yorubas will say, "Afiseyin negun fiasho." Once we have told ourselves that that era belongs to history, don't take us back to the antediluvian era. No, we don't want that. So what they are trying to do now, there was no mace where they were impeaching. The clerk of the house was not present. The deputy clerk of the house was not present. And you want me to believe that you are serving an impeachment notice. You are in the minority. There's no way that 8 lawmakers will take decision on behalf of 22 or 23. You can't do that. So this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. And in the fullness of time, we will see that this is a waste of time. And we need to tell the president, because clearly, some elements, some exuberant elements within the APC do not know the implication of some of the actions that they are taking. But Nigeria belongs to us all.
All of us.
And as journalists, we have to tell them that this is wrong. You cannot impeach with the number of characters that are trying to impeach or term now. If you work hard, you should be able to get people on your side. Remember in those days when Jim Nwobodo and Chimaroke Nnamani, when they were contesting for control of the House.
Let me quickly take this breather. We'll come back to this when we come back. Welcome back. We're looking at the impeachment notice served on Governor Yotom in Benue State. Jide, you were explaining something before we were...
Yes, I said that if they work hard, and that's what I'm saying to the president and other people, that this kind of behaviors embarrass us. If they work hard, they will be able to get some of those people on the side of the governor to come to their side. It's not impossible.
It's politics.
Remember, it's called politics. Remember when Nwobodo and Chimaroke Nnamani were contesting for the control of the Enugu State House of Assembly. Nwobodo's people used to sit in Abuja.
They were flying.
Yes, they had equal number of lawmakers. But Nwobodo continued to work, and the day he got an extra person from the other side, he took control of the House. Invariably, the entire House swung to the side of Nwobodo, and he continued to work with them. So if they work hard, they can get the people on the governor's side to their side, instead of doing the ridiculous, but with 8 people trying to, 8 persons trying to impeach the governor, and then they will now say that, okay, they have suspended the rest. They need to also learn from what happened in Nasarawa State. PDP controlled the House, overwhelming control of the House, yet they could not impeach the governor. Why? Because when you now serve the notice, the chief judge will constitute the committee. If the chief judge is loyal to the governor and he constitutes a committee full of his own loyalists, if they pass a verdict of not guilty, it's finished. That was how Al-Makura survived. So it is not just, it's not that easy to impeach a governor.
Twice the PDP
But of course, we also remember how Amechi survived in Rivers.
But it's twice.
There was no chief judge.
It's not easy to impeach a governor. You must work harder than...
Somebody was asking, what is the offense of Otom? Is it because it crossed over from APC to the PDP? And a section of that constitution, section 388, that has to do with one vague description. Gross misconduct. Anything could be identified as gross misconduct.
The accusers of the governor feels, as it used to be the practice in Nigeria, that they can determine what gross misconduct is. But the beautiful thing about our system is that even if we agree that these 8 characters sitting can actually do what they are doing. The best they can do today, tomorrow, is to serve the governor a notice of impeachment and call on the chief judge to constitute a committee. And like Jide said, the chief judge of the state as we speak is an appointee of the governor.
Why is this impeachment coming? Is it because he's a member? He's not a
Well,
member?
you see, that's how I
I don't
started
even know
my
whether it's an
statement.
appointee of the governor. What I'm saying is, if it's
He will
loyal to the governor,
If he's lawyer, and then at the end of the day he says it's a no case, then the best you can
That's
do is
it.
wait and start all over again. Now talking about whether it's because he left the party or not, should we always
Okay,
allow politics to
I have
override
a caller from Benue State. Sorry. Daniel is calling us from Benue State. Thank
Hello,
you for
good
joining
evening.
us. Good evening.
Hello, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen in the house.
Yes.
Actually, we all saw the drama today in Makodi.
Okay.
But the truth is that I think they are biting more than what they can chew. And I want to send a message to the lawmakers who are taking the lead. I want to tell them that they should go back to class and understand what politics is all about before they showcase it to the general public. Because it is very obvious that the drama that they are showing to us is clearly that those call themselves lawmakers don't even know what constitutes the law. So at the end of the day, they'll become a laughing stock to the society and to the people of Benue. So I want to urge them, let them keep their grievances aside and find a way to manage it instead of, bringing themselves to the public.
Thank you,
to be
Daniel.
laughing
We have
stock before
limited
the
time.
public.
Thank you, Daniel. Mika, after this whole thing, and the governor has been having running battle with APC, and the national chairman of the APC has been saying so many things against.
He talks a lot, so I'm not surprised. The national chairman, yeah.
it's his talent to talk.
No, that's his talent. That's why maybe that's why he doesn't have a chief press secretary.
Oh, he has not stopped there.
we accuse
He's combining
Bolaji's job.
we accuse
with Bolaji's
Oyinbo-
deputy's job, with the job of his chief press secretary. Because he has a press secretary.
Really?
But remember we accuse
I've never heard
Oyinbo-
any-
Oyinbo
No,
of
there
not
is a
talking
press
enough.
secretary in the mix. But when a man
And now we have a
can
chairman
talk more
who
than
is talking.
all his spokesmen put together,
He's a
and he has decided to exercise that
Talent.
That is what we are seeing. But they need to manage him, because even some of what he says can actually hurt the party. So they need to manage
The
him.
other time, what he even said about
He's doing a good job with
reorganizing
reorganizing
the
the party and repositioning it. No doubt about it. We've seen some of what he's doing.
Fighting for party.
People like Shehu Sani today would not have
Stayed back.
remained with the APC if not for
His
Tinubu,
deft move. Oshiomhole.
Oshomole, and Balarabe Musa. Because these were the three people who told him, what are you going to do?
Do you realize the people you are moving with?
Oshomole is working hard to keep the party strong, but he needs to button up his mouth a little bit.
All right. It is said that politicians are incurable optimists. Nigeria's president, Muhammadu Buhari, is exhibiting the traits when he said the gale of defection rocking his party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, will not negate his electoral victory in 2019. President Buhari maintained that he is unperturbed by the defection of 14 senators and 37 members of the House of Representatives to the opposition. He said Nigerians are with him and he can ride to victory on their backs. But more challenges are emerging in one of his political strongholds, that is Kano State. Two former governors, Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso and Ibrahim Shekarau, have reconciled in a move that should worry the president. Babajide, we've always been talking about Kano. In the last 16 years, Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso and Ibrahim Shekarau, they've not seen face to face.
Never worked together.
Well worked together. Now, for the first time, in Shekarau's sitting room, yesterday in Abuja, I saw Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso. Is this a red card for Ibrahim Ganduje and President Muhammadu Buhari?
It's difficult to say, because I know that...
You know, we've been saying that it is dangerous for them to work together.
Yes, and I know that they are working hard to get Shekarau to come to their side. They are working hard. They are working hard. It's not impossible that that will happen. You know, in politics, you never can rule anything in or rule anything out. Shekarau, as I've said before, used to be the vice president's, the vice president used to be Shekarau's lawyer, you know, so they have a long-standing relationship. I know that the arrest of Shekarau the other day in Kano must have really angered the man, because I am convinced, just like the legal advisor of the EFCC, that there's no case against Shekarau. You know, I showed that document. But why the EFCC, in spite of the advice from his zonal legal advisor that we don't have a case against this man, he never physically collected any money. You can't build a case of money laundering. It was Aminu Wali that collected money, and Aminu Wali went ahead, even in his statement to the police, he admitted that he was the one who collected the money. So why put Shekarau on trial? At the point when they should have moved to get Shekarau on their side, I'm not sure that they worked hard enough. But I can tell you that it is still open. It is still open. It all depends on how hard they work, because I know that the PDP will want to give the structures to Kwankwaso, knowing that Kwankwaso has capacity.
That movement.
Yes, he has capacity beyond even Kano. No doubt about it.
Across the country.
So they will want to...
I haven't seen a vehicle in Lagos.
Everywhere. The day even he went to
With the number plate,
the day he went to
Kwankwaso.
Daura, the crowd was like. So he's been building that group for some time. Now, if they do that, there's no way Shekarau will be happy, because it will be twice beaten, twice shy. Because it happened, he was the one who set up the APC in Kano. He was the one who registered the party in Kano.
But Jide, I was told that they are working out a kind of sharing formula.
The sharing formula, will be a big problem for the PDP, because they are saying that those guys defecting, they will take 51. Then the people that will take 49. These guys know that once you give someone
a slight
majority, he's going to eventually take over everything. That is the thing. So that is why they are scared. Look at in Kwara. Saraki is having issues in Kwara. Because a lot of those guys don't want him back. They know that once he comes back, he will take full control.
With 20%, Saraki will take over.
He will eventually take everything.
Our friend Alhaji Lai Mohammed is even praying that Saraki should just take his exit from APC.
Where does that leave?
It's a threat. It's a political threat.
But what about Lafiaji? Can he beat Lafiaji?
So that is the thing. I know that it's possible for even Kwankwaso to end up in the APC. It all depends.
President Muhammadu Buhari's optimism, let's look at it. He said he's convinced that the people are with him, that the voting Nigerians.
Yeah, well, if President Buhari or his handlers or his spokesperson take a look at Kano and say that one can understand their optimism. Over time, even when he was contesting and losing, Buhari has continued to win in Kano. He sees Kano as one of his very, very strong political base. And the Say Buhari mantra in Kano is still very strong. However, I think they shouldn't take victory in Kano for granted. With a Shekarau and a Kwankwaso settling their quarrel. Another issue, which though local may affect the chances of the president in Buhari, is the growing determination of political bigwigs in Kano to end the governorship of Governor Ganduje.
Yeah.
Buhari issue aside, Ganduje issue aside, whatever happens to Ganduje and the APC will definitely have a serious effect on Buhari's presidential ambition. And with Shekarau giving his followership in Kano, combining with Kwankwaso, if the alliance works out, if it works out, there are fears.
Dari, it always falls on you. Let me pick this call for the third time. I was avoiding it, but my producer is on me. My case. Mukhtar. From
Hello,
Kano.
good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mukhtar.
How are you doing, Babajide?
I'm fine. Oh, yeah, okay.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
You know, I'm happy you touched the issue of politics in Kano.
yeah.
You know, Kano is a special and peculiar state in terms of politics. What we don't even expect to happen, it will happen.
Yes.
So it is a matter of interest. It is a matter of choice. Shekarau is a very simple and harmless human being. But he was touched and he was beaten twice by APC. And he would not like to be beaten 3 times. So it is a matter of you choose whom you want to move with. As far as politics is concerned, Mr. President, in his wishful thinking, thought that people are with him. But in the actual sense, a reality of things, apart of so many factors of, you know, people, lack of good governance and so many other things.
Oh, we lost Mukhtar, but that person was trying to say that
It's not yet to Uhuru.
it's not yet to Uhuru. Rotimi Amechi granted an interview last weekend and was saying even in states like Sokoto states, that's the president fortress, Bauchi, Sokoto state, that it's not possible for people like Tambuwal to think he wants to defeat President Buhari in Sokoto state.
It's the Rotimi Amechi who is talking. Rotimi Amechi has said many things that didn't happen. Let him go to, he should have even won one local government in Rivers during the last council election. Then I'll listen to him. You see,
He didn't deliver his local
He
government.
couldn't deliver his local government. That's the same person that will be telling me about politics. You see, the fact of the matter is that this alliance is a solid alliance. But like BK has said, a lot of work needs to be done. That's the beauty of politics. You know, that's the beauty of politics.
Both sides.
You need strategies. You don't need to turn politics to a dirty affair. You know, that's the strange thing about Nigerian politicians. You know, that's why you see assassinations.
What we are saying here is that President Buhari is saying,
look,
win. I'm going to win.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. What I'm saying is that,
Keyamo
yes, I wish him well.
Buhari doesn't talk like that.
No,
That's why
It is Keyamo that said
yes.
I wish, no, even if President Buhari comes out to say it openly, all I can do is to wish him the best. You understand? I mean, I'm a human being. He has a right to declare his ambition and to say that every politician who aspires for public office wants,
we invited
believes
you here
win.
to gauge it.
Yes.
Is that possible? Is it not possible?
No, of course, we just heard somebody from Kano on the ground saying certain things that you know, sort of trying to warn Buhari that don't dwell in wishful thinking that what you've always had on a platter in the past, you know, is still there for taking.
Just saying the circumstances are different.
The circumstances are different, so you need to work harder. And then again, the governor, look at today, the speaker, the speaker of Council Assembly was impeached, and then the former speaker who was removed for alleged corruption was reinstated. Yeah. So what it tells you is that there is already panic. You know, a lot of
the governors are good.
They are going back
to keep that guy on the job. Yeah. Remember when they first wanted to impeach him? It was the
okay, let me quickly pick Sule, why Sule's call. Sule, do you share President Buhari's optimism about his chances in the next election?
In Kano.
In Kano.
Well, Mr. Ayo, we need first of all look at states that contribute large votes. If you look at states like Kano, states like Sokoto, states like Kaduna, what is the difference between Buhari's vote and President Jonathan's vote? It's only 2 million. And Kano alone produced 2 million votes. So for you to say, and apparently, you are losing Kano. The state that gave you the winning vote, you are losing Kano. And again, Sokoto, from the feelers we are getting, likely the Sokoto governor may as well defect. And that is a minus on the vote that will be coming from Sokoto. Kaduna, you have a division in Kaduna. 2 senators out of the 3, or even 3 senators are defected. That is going to be a minus again. And in Nigerian context, these states constitute part of what is called in U.S. swing states. states that their votes determine the election at the center. And how can you say you are not perturbed? You are not disturbed? When the states that determine your election are not certain.
Thank you, Sule. I think our time is fast spent. Jide, to sum it up.
Yes, just as Emeka said, this thing is work in progress.
Yes.
Both sides must continue to work. I am not ruling anything out.
Is the president vulnerable?
It's not, I'm not going to say it's vulnerable. He may not get the kind of votes that he got in Kano the last time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Ayo. It's not going to happen. The governor can say we'll give him up to 6 million, but we know that it's not going to happen. The circumstances are different. The circumstances are different. At that time, everyone in the north felt, oh, this is the only northern candidate, let's go for it.
Okay,
so,
let me
but
quickly.
this time, northerners are going to contest against one another and split each other's votes.
Let's just move to Kogi State, where we have our ever, bubbling senator. That is, there's no end yet to the theatrics. That's the case of the senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye, and the Nigerian police has become. Last Thursday, while a Lokoja magistrate court was sitting in anticipation of appearance of Senator Dino Melaye for his trial, news of his abduction, shrouded in mystery and disbelief, broke out. But the senator has shed more lights on that incident. Speaking on Sunday, Senator Melaye escaped into the bush and hid in a tree and 11 hours, and after suspected assailant attacked his vehicle in Gwagwalada along Abuja Lokoja Road on his way to attend the court case. So, who is after Dino Melaye?
Well, it's Dino who can tell these stories better than the rest of us.
One drama, one day.
He said that they were going to kill him, so he ran into the bush on foot against people who presumably must have been armed with maybe an AK-47. You outran them, climbed the tree,
and you were there for 11 hours.
And you were there for 11 hours. He must have set a record for the time that he spent on that tree, because the man is not built like a primate.
Monkey.
You are not orangutan, for God's sake. So God, the physiology of man does not make him a talented climber of trees. So to stay there for that long.
Oh, but the woman stayed on a tree in Mozambique for 23 hours.
To stay there for that long.
Because of his physique.
Okay, well, maybe the physique.
See, there was a man who had the risk of, because a crocodile was at the base of the tree, tied himself to the tree. He tied himself. He tied himself to the tree. The crocodile was nibbling at the base of the tree. But the guy survived because he tied himself. You know, you could actually doze off and then will fall, and then that would be meal for the crocodile. So, but in this case, 11 hours,
and he didn't
you see why and he didn't tie himself. He didn't tell that part of the story. What he told us now is that he is not prepared to tell anybody that he's going to probably write a book or something. We are waiting for that book. But the thing is, the manner, we know if that who was a witness to the attempt to kidnap him, nobody. Was any report lodged with the police? There's no record of that.
Ben Bruce went on Twitter.
It was Ben Bruce that helped us to announce that the man...
And he didn't go to the police station.
You see, many people would think that Dino simply didn't want to keep his date in court. That's the way many people see what has happened. And given his reputation, you remember the other day they were taking him to go and face justice, and he jumped out of a vehicle. So people will not believe this story. It's extremely difficult. I'm not saying that he didn't climb a tree for 11 hours because I was not there. You know? But look, ask any Nigerian, they will have their doubts about that story.
You said it. You know, it has become one day, one drama. But this is drama taken too far, in my opinion. And I want to plead with
you abandon your bulletproof car and then run
start
on
running. You see, people like Dino should stop these theatrics and save Nigeria from the embarrassment they daily plunge us. I read a newspaper caption the day he resurfaced that says, Dino releases Milai. And I've been laughing since the day.
It was Dino that kidnapped Milai.
I've been laughing since the day I read it. But we can laugh about this thing because we are Nigerians. How are people outside here looking at us? A distinguished senator of the Federal Republic. Was he driving himself? So much so that we cannot find one person. The police said, please, those who witness his kidnapping, come forward.
His driver should have
At
gone to
least,
report.
was his driver kidnapped? Then, Dino is gradually taking the shape of the new James Bond, the way he goes about with his drama. You ran so fast with his bulky physiology, outran people with gun, climbed a tree, which must be a very mighty tree to carry your frame.
Been a bamboo tree.
And, oh, it must be a bamboo tree.
Your
And you
bamboos
stayed
are
atop the
dilated.
tree for 11 hours.
We are running out of time.
For 11 hours.
We thought
Please, you should
there was
stop
a time.
embarrassing
There was
us.
a time when I looked at the 8th Senate, and there was a time when I looked at the Senate we had before, where you had the likes of Olorunnibe Mamora presiding the Senate, and we thought House of Rep and
Doma
Senate
Egba, all of them.
yes, that the stabilizing factor is the Senate, the matured ones, and people that they carry themselves very, very high. But this is not to be said of. We can't say this of this
Current,
the current
crop
8th
of,
Senate because the drama was in the House of Representatives for the 7th, 6th Assembly.
Because Dino was there.
Do I agree? I don't agree with you. You can't just...
Distinguished senator.
No, you can't say because of Dino.
Jumping from the back of the car.
No. I'm responding. I'm responding to what you said about the Senate. The Senate remains, the bastion of democracy. We must hold our lawmakers to account. We must continue to impress it on them that they must let this democracy survive and they must do their best.
Okay, let's talk about Dino now.
Talking about Dino, well, okay, fine, Dino's theatrics and all of that. The case has been adjourned till sometime in August. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Like Jide said,
I'm sure it's
we were not
bandits
there.
after him
We
now.
were not there. So it's up to
Do
the
you
police.
believe his story?
I have no reason to disbelieve his story. He was the witness. He was the person involved.
He was the victim.
So
and the
it's only the
witness
police.
and
It's
the
only the
witness.
police that will come to tell us that
It
it's
can't be a
true.
witness.
So what will the police do in this case?
That is it.
He
Police
is
are not even there.
the sole.
Someone else has to be with the witness, not
No,
Fine.
in
So
his own case, there was nobody.
I
One
think we
man
may just
victim,
have
one
to
man
just
The witness, the
overlook
producer,
that.
the
He's the director of
abductor.
the movie. He's the scriptwriter of the movie.
What a way to end today.
Well, actually, ultimately, the people what's the name?
Kogi West.
Is it Kogi West?
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Oh,
they
that
know.
there are other candidates will come up. The way things are going. This is a funny state. And the governor, you see, the governor has not changed. Ogembe, the senator, wanted to do empowerment program. They sent policemen to block him from doing empowerment program. And there's no state police. So someone wants me to believe that
if we
state
have
police
state
is
police,
good
it
for
will
people
solve
like
our
Yaya Bello to administer. Ordinary empowerment you won't allow people to do.
All right, I want to thank you, Emeka Madunagu,
Thank you very much.
Dario Falcon, thank you, and congratulations again, the Metro.
Thank you.
And that's all on Journalist Hangouts. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, and also watch Journalist Hangouts on our platforms showing on the screen. And you can catch us on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangouts at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Zubabu. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.